Welcome back to Monster Transmission. I'm John. I'm here with our lead builder from Monster, Nate. Nate has been with us for how many years, Nate?
12 years.
12 years at Monster Transmission. So you've seen a little bit of everything. We've done a lot of really interesting, cool builds over the years. I would say the average transmission that we build for is going to be truck applications typically. That's the most common one, but we get a lot of hot rods, we got a lot of resto mods, we get a lot of conversion packages, all sorts of cool stuff. And today we're talking about, actually this whole week we're talking about the 4L60 family.
This is my family.
I brought Nate on because we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about the 60 and how it all got started. So Turbo 350 really is where it all started, right, Nate?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So pretty much in 82 was one of the first years they actually started building the 700R4. And if people are very familiar with taking apart 350s, 700s, the whole rear planetary side is almost exactly the same as the Turbo 350. And then they just updated the forward drum and the direct drum, made it a reverse drum, and made it to where it's capable of doing a 4-speed.
So it's non-electronic, it's all hydraulic driven.
This one's completely hydraulic driven, controlled by a TV cable.
And this is one of our most popular transmissions to do conversions with,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
people are wanting to get that extra gear, get better gas mileage, less RPMs when you're going down the highway. You're gonna go with the 700R4 if you wanna keep it non-electronic. And you have to deal with TV cable adjustments and a handful of other things, which can make or break the transmission during installation,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. If you don't have the TV cable adjusted properly, you will prematurely burn up your 3/4 clutches.
Pretty quick too.
Very
It doesn't
fast.
take much time. That brings it to the 4L60 family. Now that started, 93?
That was about 92, 93 years when it started.
Yeah.
Based on what type of engine you had, the 4.3, I think was the first year they actually did it. And then from there on in, they went all the way up to 2014.
So it's funny because when people call in, they say, I got a 4L60, and they'll say, it'll be like a 2006, Silverado.
Right.
But over the years, most commonly people just call it the 60 all
Right.
through those years. But technically it goes from 60 to 65s when you get into the LS style, and then it goes from 65 to 70 to 75 until finally in 2007 that they went to the 6L80s, the 6 speeds, right?
Right, yeah. So technically the GM terminology is that everything's a 4L60E based on codes. But we do have different ones where they have the 298 millimeter shaft, the 300 millimeter, and a 245 based on if you had an inline 5-cylinder, the V6, or the LS style. The LS styles have the 300 millimeter shafts and usually will be a 2-piece bell housing with the top bolt hole. That's for that classification. We call that one here the 65 just to better classify it. Technically a real 4L65 would have the 5-pin planetaries and the 7 3/4 clutch packs, and they usually did those in the Hummers, the Tahoes, and some of the bigger trucks. Confusion does happen when we say a 65 and a 60 because of how the GM classified everything. And then in 2007, split year 06, 2006 and a half and 2007, they actually added an input speed sensor, and that would have been the classification of a 4L70. And then from 4L70, they went from 2006 and a half all the way to 2008. And in 2009, they switched it to the 4L75, which had the input speed sensor and then an internal input neutral safety switch. And then they did that one all the way to 2014. And that was the last year.
2014 on the
Yeah.
75.
Yeah,
So they
2014
were
with the
building the
4.8.
6 speeds even while
Yeah,
they
they
were
started.
building
Yeah, they
wow.
started the 6 speeds in 2006, but
Yeah.
they still kept them going on for the 4.8s and the 4.3s. After that, they just discontinued the transmission alone, and then for better fuel economy and all that stuff. Good
Yeah, and
regulations.
there's always those hiccups when they roll out a new transmission too. So they probably didn't want to just go commit wholly to 4, which is good they didn't, because there were some
Right.
things that we've worked out since
and they
then.
probably had a lot of excess inventory they needed to get rid of.
But we've basically, done everything we can to perfect this model, whether it's in the 60 family. So what's some of the upgrades and some of the things that we do here fix the common, issues that are from factory, and what are some of the upgrades that we've done? Like specifically, we have some SS parts here that we put in our SS transmissions and in our rebuild kits.
Right. So for our SS line, we'll update it. We'll put a hardened sun shell in it. We have our ultra wide 2.4 band, and then we'll do the Corvette servo, which actually the vet servo we put in every single transmission we do. This increases volume for the 1-2 shift, so it actually really helps out there. And then on this one for our SSs, we have the 4th gear Super Servo, which is the same thing. It's cut out more, so you have more fluid volume going into the 4th gear clutch apply. So it actually will put more force onto the band to hold it as you're driving down the highway. You know, it's highly recommended if you're going to be hauling any trailers or anything of that nature.
Right. And then, of course, shift kits are available from just our basic heavy duty all the way up.
Yeah, we put
now,
shift kits in all ours.
Shift kit's not just about the
recalibration kits.
Yeah, and it's not just about the feel of the transmission, right? When you're making it engage harder, it's reducing friction, right? Which helps the transmission last longer.
Yeah, because you know, factory transmissions, they are designed to shift soft, and the softer the shift, the more it's going to slip into gear. A lot of them newer, you know, everyone can say the 8 speeds, 10 speeds, they actually will slip into gear almost every single time you feel it. What we do is we try to prevent that from happening, so it's more of a positive than a negative shift. That's why every shift you feel it go into gear. That's because you're getting a positive force going into each clutch pack apply.
So that'll help with, obviously, guys that, you know, want the performance. It's going to shift a little harder, a little faster, and then, of course, it'll strengthen the transmission over time.
Right, yeah. It does increase longevity.
Monster Transmission Showcase is brought to you by Burn Rubber Brewing, the official fluid for Monster Transmission. Now included with every transmission order. The best tasting fluid on the market, not for human consumption.